Good morning, guys. I'm Marisa. If you're new here and if you're returning, welcome back. And so I'm still in Allentown, and I got my package yesterday and my electrical system. So that's so exciting because now I have electricity. And it got down into like the 20s last night. So it was super cold, but I was warm in my sleeping bag. It was just having to get out from under the covers this morning was really cold. But it's all good. It's kind of warmed up now. I'm sitting in the park and it's a beautiful day. And so anyway, I've been fighting like this little cold for the past couple of days. I wouldn't even call it a cold. Just my head's really stuffy. And then yesterday, I had like a lot of drainage for my ear and a lot of drainage for my ear. And I felt better afterwards, but, I do that like once a year around the time the seasons change. Like my ears just start acting up really bad. So anyway, I've just kind of been, resting this week because I wasn't feeling, I could tell I was fighting some type of, cold or infection or something. And so I've just been taking it easy, and I probably won't leave today either because, I was thinking about it this morning. It's like, I'm not sure where next. Like the Lord hasn't clearly spoken to me, and, I'm not in a hurry. So it's like, I want to wait on the Lord. Right. And that's what I was thinking about this morning about waiting on the Lord, because waiting on the Lord can look different depending on, how you're waiting and what you're waiting for. So let me give you some examples. So in the Bible, Joseph, he was given a promise that, he was given dreams when he was a boy, and it took so long for all those promises to come true, and he went through so many trials and tribulations, but his latter years were greater than his former years, and God fulfilled those promises, but it was a long wait. And Hannah waited for Samuel to be born. It was a long wait, and she went through many tears and many afflictions from her sister wife, being taunted and made fun of and all that stuff before she actually got Samuel. And it drew her to her knees. It drew her closer to the Lord in that waiting process. But then you also have waiting, times of waiting when you're actually like in transition, and so, we think that, oh, I'm in transition, God's about to open a door and it's going to be this quick thing. But I'm telling you, sometimes those transitions can be a minute. And so especially when you're, like me right now, I'm traveling and I'm not sure where I'm going. I'm not sure the destination. I'm not sure. I mean, I have some ideas, but I'm not going to share those, until the Lord confirms those. And so, so even just, right now in the transition between leaving Myrtle Beach and whatever this new place is, there's a waiting, you don't rush it. You take your time with the Lord. And there's some good reasons why, because first the Lord is, he's testing your faith always. There's always that test of faith of like standing on it and, that sort of thing. But, more than that, he's shaking off the last season and preparing you for the new thing. And so in that transition is when you get the fresh mantle, you get the fresh revelation, you get the fresh anointing for the new thing, you get re-strengthened, you have to discard all that old baggage and all those old failures and all those old spiritual warfare that you were going through, the battles that you were going through. You have to lay those things down. I know for me, I've had to delete some people from my Facebook and really shut those doors and try to block some people on YouTube, but apparently it didn't work. But just to sever some attachments, just so, and it has nothing to do with them. It has more to do with me. Like I need closure in that area. And I'm not one to delete people or block people, but it was like lately, I just felt like the Lord's like, no, it's time to cut those ties completely. And so sometimes you have to burn some oxen, and that's what I mean. You cut ties and cut connections. And if later on, years down the road, the Lord wants to bring it back around, that's his prerogative. But for now, I'm just going to obey and trust that, like, nope, this needs to be shut right now, And so you have to go through this whole process with the Lord in the in-between seasons of him remantling you and just spending time with him, quality time, and to get your vision back and to repurpose and refocus on what he's actually asking you to do and what does that look like and that sort of thing. So a transition time can last months. I mean, when I went to California, I thought the door was going to open when I got off that plane. I promise you, I was like, oh, the Lord's just going to open a door for me as soon as I land. I didn't know I was going to walk 3 months before I met Pastor Phil and moved into his place, right? So with this, I'm just taking my sweet little time. I'm not in any hurry, I'm not expecting anything. I'm not like where before I was so full of presumption of what I thought would happen or was going to happen that, I ended up getting a lot of disappointment. And this time I just don't have any presumption. I trust the Lord. I'm like, Lord, whatever you want to do, when you want me to move from this spot, we'll move from this spot. And because I do have that experience of following the cloud and following the pillar of fire, I know when that cloud's moving, you know what I mean? And so I think the level of trust this time around for sure is way higher because I don't feel anxious for anything. I don't feel like, the not knowing part used to drive me insane. The not knowing part, I would make up things in my head because I needed to know something, right? And it was just, a lot of it was my own imagination. So over the past couple of years, he's just killed that need for control, that need to know all the answers, that need to, prove myself, the need to all that. It's just, I don't have it. I don't have it in me anymore. But what I do have, what was left standing after all those things were stripped from me, was my complete and total trust in him. Not even the benefits, just him. Just knowing, I know that he's with me, just feeling his presence, hearing his voice. That's enough for me, and I think that that's where he wants us, is that should just be enough. He fed me today. He clothed me today. I have gas in my car today, and tomorrow when the gas tank is empty and my stomach is hungry and, whatever, he's going to do it again. And that's enough. And sufficient for today is its own troubles, let tomorrow worry about itself. And so, in this in-between time, I'm just really focused on, the quality time, right? And like not being in a rush, not making up things to get my hopes up in something that's my own vain imagination. And I say that because the Lord speaks really clear to me about a lot of things, like really clear. But my own personal life, he is never clear about that. And he tells me things, and it's always true. Like when I look back and I'm like, oh, God said that he would do this. I always look back and say, oh, he did do that. It just wasn't how I envisioned how he would do it. Right. And so I think he knows that I have a very vivid imagination. So, I'm prone to imagine how those promises will turn out. So he gives me limited information when it comes to myself. And there's another thing about me is when he does speak clearly to me to tell me to do something, I do it immediately. I don't procrastinate. I'm like, let's go, so, that's one thing about me. So a lot of times he doesn't tell me things ahead of time because he knows that when he says it, I'm going to get up and go do it, so he'll wait until the timing's right. And then he'll tell me to go do it. And so, that's just, he knows me and I know him. I try to know him. Let's just say that'll be a never ending quest to know him. As I grow and change, he speaks in different ways, and And that's the other thing about the Lord is he's always teaching us. He's strengthening our weak parts. So he's teaching us how to hear his voice in different ways. He's, as we grow, he grows with us. I mean, well, that doesn't make sense, but the way he communicates gets different, and he's always strengthening our weak parts. So he's strengthening the way we hear him and the way we follow him, the way we perceive him. And so the things that we're not so good at, he'll work on those areas, But anyway, so I was just thinking about waiting on the Lord, and right now I'm just waiting until I hear the next move, and I'll go do that. Could be a day, could be a week, who knows? But I'm not in a hurry, and God's never in a rush unless it's like some extreme emergency and some angels come and scoop you up and say, don't look back, just run for your life. Like God's not really in a hurry. And I think we get in a hurry sometimes because of our, situations that we find ourselves in, but really, I used to worry about that a lot more than I do now. Now I wake up and I'm like, well, I'm fed, I'm clothed, I'm full, I got gas. It's gonna be a good day, so. I didn't die in the cold last night. I had a sleeping bag. So I'm just grateful for what I do have. So a lot of times, if we can't just be comfortable with what we do have, if God's trying to get us to that place of just ultimate gratitude and being able to abase and abound, it can be hard to just live with your daily bread. That can be a hard battle when you're used to having the finer things or the comforts, and God takes that from you for a season. That can be a battle with your flesh. I don't really struggle with that anymore. That's not one of my we're beyond that. I've abased, I've abounded. I just want to be where he is. I don't care what I have, so luckily, like I said, this time around, I have a lot less warfare than I did the first time, because I've died to a lot of those things that used to cause me contention. And so I don't have those the warfare. The main warfare I'm struggling with now is getting past the disappointment and saying yes again and stepping out in faith again, and understanding that this time isn't like last time. And that's the big part, is not being traumatized by all the stuff that happened last time, and just taking it day by day and enjoying it as things come, and when problems arise, take it to him in prayer and have him fix it, but not to get fearful of what could go wrong because of what happened last time. So that's been my biggest struggle, and so far, this has been a blessing and enjoyable, and I'm thankful for it. And so, so it's been really cool. And, sorry guys, the video got shut off. So I'm just to recap, or just to say thank you guys to, whoever's following along. I'll try to be on here more this week. Just keep praying for me, 'cause I don't feel good. And, get back on this road pretty soon. So we'll see what the Lord has in store for us. And anyway, I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.